recognize which is wish fulfilling the jewel, and more hard to understand how to use the wish fulfilling jewels for fulfilling of your wish, but the end can fulfill as your temporary moment wish. That is a wish fulfilling jewel. But this human birth is more rare, more difficult to obtain the precious of this human birth, But also difficult to recognize precious as precious, and more hard to know how to use this precious human body for benefit yourself and for benefit other sentient beings, But the end, when we found hard to find, when difficult to recognize, we hard to understand how to use for benefit, but the end we understand how to use, and that this precious human body can fulfill completely as your wish for this life and for next rebirth again. Not only could fulfill as your wish alone, but on top you could fulfill other sentient beings' wish gradually, can do benefit. So that is why we believe very much that the human birth is the human body is of most one precious than other beings, So that is why we have to, we should be recognized how we are wonderful, how we are lucky, Not only just we are born in the human realm, but we are having the red place, because you have chance, opportunity to meet holy teachers, holy teachings, holy lineages, or different the holy cultures, holy religions, or so on and so forth. The different, each person, you have different karmic connections to linking to some traditions. That also is very opportunity, the chance, opportunity. And not only, but on top also we needed the 5 or the 6 human faculties completed, everybody, As we are healthy, as that's very lucky and fortunate. And on top, also is most one opportunity, we're having freedom. I think as most of you, I'm sure, you have freedom. What you like, you can do practice. What you like, you can do meditate. For example, so today is everybody freely, I think, is joining of these lectures. That means we are very lucky, we are really fortunate, freedoms. So this kind of precious human body, sometimes we say the 18 qualities, with the 8 freedoms, and with the 10 endowments, and total is there's 18 qualities. That is the most precious human birth. It's like more precious than wish fulfilling jewel. So that is, we are very lucky. So therefore now, we're not enough only just satisfaction with this precious human body, but we need to understand the impermanence of this life. Also important, Our life is impermanence. Not only our life, but every phenomena, the component phenomena apparent are impermanence, of course, inchangeable object, and especially in this human body, is difficult to obtain but easily can lost, So therefore, we need to remember the impermanence. It's very important. Because why I'm talking about important to remember the impermanence, of course, everybody knows is that the death is 100% sure. Sooner or later, it will be coming up after the birth, Nobody want to die, but nobody can stop the death. That is, we know, clear. But the problems we feel, looks like our life is very stable, like Montemiru, like more strong, something our life is a nature feeling. Because we organizing preparation, many things about of this life is for hundreds years, for thousands of years, it looks like, but that is not true actually, this life can be the death is suddenly appears very, very possible in this week, in this month, on this age, on this year. So why not, So already we learned many things from some is already dead, passed away, more younger than you, of your friend or your people or some. Some already pass away as the same age of you. Some is older than you, they pass away. So there's no certainty 100% become old to everybody, So this tells us is the life is impermanence, whether we like or not, but that's true. So we must be in the truth, focus on the truth, because this can support to us immediately to do something benefit for yourself, immediately start to benefit to other beings. That means, otherwise, this precious human body, we have opportunity, chance to fund one's time, but we're wasting in normal way, and then that suddenly appears death. That time we will be disappointed. and regret, empty hand, to live without any positive merits or karmas or so forth. And then it will be a little bit, sad. So that is why if you're thinking about impermanence, and these leading us immediately, our body and speech, our heart, into the positive actions. So that is why I'm saying, just remind to you, I'm sure you know already, of course, but just a reminder to you is we need to thinking about impermanence. So now at the end, the questions, if sure we know as coming will be sooner or later death, but what is the benefit, what is the good when there appears the death? Who can support to us for the fear, the panics of the death and the suffering of the death? And who can us giving refuge? Something is for freedom, next immediate rebirth from low realms. And who can support to us again reborn and the higher fortune in the human or God realms and so forth? There are quite many questions, Then some of you say, oh, I have so many monies. I did credit during my past 40 years, 50 years, I've collected so many monies I have on the bank, So, but it's good in this life. But during the death, even money not follow you. Even one coins, we cannot carry us with to the next rebirth. That's very clear, not possible. And some of you say, oh, I have so many relatives, so many friends, so many children, so many people, the friend around me. But it's good, very nice, lucky you in this life. But I'm talking during the immediate when they appear in the death. That moment is they also cannot follow us. We cannot bring to with us in next moments of death. It's not possible. Even if the moment you say, I have the, great, this precious human body, I'm still very young, I'm very healthy, or I'm very handsome, or maybe I am very beautiful, something is good, lucky, fortunate, that's also good karma. But during the death, must be this precious human body also separate or leave behind, cannot carry to the next rebirth, cannot follow us to the death. That's 100% very clear, right? So, now only whether you like or not, exception one, follow us to the next rebirth. These can support or harming, which means is the imprint of your past action stored on the stream of your mind. Your imprint of your past action is as merits the positive actions, and these can help support to you for during the death and during the immediate next rebirth and leading us a higher realm and will be stopping falling unfortunately low realms. These can benefit us life after of another life. Not only benefit in this life, but on top of this life benefit and but to next rebirth also too. But unfortunately, if we accumulated non-merits, negative actions, loads, and very, very later chance accumulated merits and during this precious human life. And then this also follow us to the next rebirth and will be harming during the death and during the immediate rebirth. So unfortunately, sometimes it can be leading into unfortunate low realm, just the next rebirth. So therefore, we need to understand right now, start to training one's own mind. We need to training one's own mind. Which means is we need to find the most important essence of our life. We need to find the most important meaning of our human value, of the human birth. What do you think? What is the most important essence or the meaning of our life? I'm sure actually it's everybody, we're doing something activities since after mother's birth until now, day and night, during 24 hours. But almost each person different actives, But the main key point is, I think, is same. Doesn't matter Eastern, Western, or something is which language, which colors, or which traditions, doesn't matter. The aim is purpose is only one, which is to be attainment, happiness, enjoyment, and to find a way from the fear of suffering and the panics and the obstacles, to move the obstacles. That I think is 100% sure everybody's same. Not only human beings, even a small animal, insect. If they can answer to us our question, they understand, I'm sure they also said they're searching happiness, enjoyment, and they try to far away from suffering and the obstacles. That's clear. So now, in this way, how can we could be attainment state or purpose of the happiness, enjoyment? How we can be freedom from the suffering? These are the questions. So would you think the happiness and the sufferings both can be born automatically, causelessly, just appears there sometimes? Or the suffering and the happiness must be depend to the of right cause and right conditions? That is questions, If you are logicians, I'm sure you agree, it cannot born automatically and causelessly the suffering and happiness, not possible. We can say, I'm lucky because I'm good life. Say, oh, I'm unlucky because I'm bad life. But why you are unlucky and why some of you lucky, those are questions, That means is someone having lucky and someone having the lucky. That means is it depend to the he or her previous actions, past actions, and depend to the he or her and the present conditions, the achieving conditions, Depend to the projecting cause and depend to the present conditions, the achieving conditions, these two. That not only the experiencing of happiness and suffering, but each apparent of the compounded phenomena are originated interdependently. That is not, I'm talking only traditional way. I'm not talking of philosophical way only. Even if you are the scientific way, then also I'm sure you agree all the compounded phenomena are originated interdependently. That means is even one single atom cannot exist independently. No possible. Therefore, our experiencing the happiness, what we want, also cannot born independently, no possible. And the suffering, what we doesn't want to experience, also cannot be born independently. Both of happiness and experiencing of suffering are interdependently originated. This is very clear. Okay, I think you agree. If you agree, now another questions, then is which is the actual causes, the right causes of to the happiness, enjoyment, and which is of the actual causes of the suffering. So that we need to know is that the negative action is as the actual causes for suffering, and the positive action is as the actual causes of the happiness, enjoyment. That's very clear. 100% is clear. So therefore, everybody we want to become happy, enjoyment, we need to collection merits. We need to start now, right now, we need to training one's mind with compassion and with loving kindness and with pure wisdom. That's the only way. Otherwise, in fact, the actual action of body, speech, heart is always spanning with of a negative way, and then our wish is become happy enjoyment. That is contradictory. That's why in the text they says everybody want to become happy enjoyment, but is enemy destroy the root of happiness by themselves. This is the problem, the opposite. And everybody want to become freedom from suffering, but unfortunately, most of ordinary people, they're chasing to the actual cause of suffering. Then, now again you say, why? Because we want to become happy. By why we destroy by oneself the root of happiness? We doesn't want to experience suffering. Why are we chasing to the cause of suffering? These are questions. The answer is ignorant. That is born, that comes from the ignorance. Ignorant, misconception, misunderstanding mind. This is the problem. So therefore now we need to understand what is the actual cause of happiness, which is the actual cause of suffering. We need to clearly to distinguish which is a necessary abandonment object for harming yourself and for harming to others, which is a necessary engagement object for benefit yourself and for benefit others sentient beings. We need to know. We need to learning, we need studying, we need training once a month, we need to practice. That is the antidote to the ignorant. Ignorance is at the root of delusions. Ignorance is at the root of afflictive emotions. So doesn't matter what kind of aspect of afflictive emotion and delusions, but as long as our nature mind covered by the obscuration of delusions, and then we have no chance to collection merits. It's unfortunately our body, speech, mind, actions spinning with of negative. This is the problem. Is the suffering, unpleasant feeling is born from created by the negative action or non-merits. Negative action is created by of a delusion or disturbing emotion mind. Disturbing emotion mind or the afflictive emotion mind is created by the ignorant. Ignorant means is misconception mind or misunderstanding. This is very clear. So therefore, suffering we say born interdependently. Suffering depends to the karma. Negative karma depends to the of disturbing emotion, delusion mind. Delusion mind depends to the of ignorant. Ignorant means is mistake and misconception mind. So therefore, now, if you want to be freedom from the suffering, further future, and then we need to change as much we can from negative action and towards into the positive action. We need to collect more positive actions, and we try gradually will be less and less negative actions, and the end finally to stop completely negative actions. Then how can we change of negative action? That's not easy. How can we cultivating positive action? That's not easy. The reason because unfortunately we are habituated of such negative emotion, negative actions, not only just this life, but life after of another life. We are born since from beginner's time in the samsara, under the dependent to of the ignorance and delusions of karma. So therefore, the negative emotion is very much strongly the habituated. The imprint of the negative emotions very strong stored on your base of all consciousness or the basics of our mind. So therefore, it's not easy to change. But if you ask, it is possible we can stop negative emotion. It is possible we can purification to purify completely of the obscuration of the delusion and obscuration of negative karma. Then I'm saying it's very, very 100% sure it's possible. Everybody, sooner or later, you have the potential power to be freedom from the obscuration of delusions and obscuration of to the karma. Doesn't matter which tradition followers, but sooner or later everybody can. Freedom. The reason because the ignorance is not the nature of our mind. The delusion is not the reality of our mind. So the negative emotion just circumstantially appears at the moment and there. Sooner or later it will become separate from nature mind. But primordially pure, the nature of our mind, sense from beginningless. That is a Buddhist point we say, calling the name is a Buddha nature. We calling Buddha nature. Buddha nature pervading equally to each sentient being's mind. Not only human being. All the sentient beings' nature mind is Buddha. But first we need to know Buddha. Okay? What it means Buddha. Buddha means is a pure wisdom and a pure compassion. That is Buddha. Buddha is as the united about wisdom and about pure wisdom and about pure compassion. That is we calling Buddha. From Buddhism we calling Buddha. If you are different traditions, you can call different name. But upon the actual qualities, wisdom and compassion. Okay? That is why as how many different traditions on this world, doesn't matter, the essence is compassion. Compassion is as essence of the different traditions, different religions, I'm sure. That means is you can call different name. We say Buddha, or you can say as God, You can say Shiva or Indra, Brahma, or maybe whatever you like. You can call the creator of the universe, or so on and so forth. Or sun or moon, even sometimes they pray to the sun and moon. But doesn't matter. You